Part 3 on how my sister married our stepdad after our mom passed away. Okay, so boom, like I said, my sister happily held her hand up and said we're getting married. We argued and I told her how could she do this to mom? And she responded, mom's not here anymore. It's only been 5 months, guys. I was so angry. I couldn't hold myself back. My sister was older, but I was bigger and taller, and I beat my sister up until our stepdad broke it up. My sister had a huge black eye, and before I left, I spit on my stepdad. I know it's nasty, guys, but you don't understand the level of anger and disrespect I felt for my mom. I called my real dad, and once I explained everything to him, he went inside and grabbed my sister away from our stepdad. The dads went to war, but my real dad ended up winning. And then he called the cops. My stepdad groomed my sister and engaged in unlawful acts with her. He's currently in jail where my sister visits him all the time. My sister is convinced she was not groomed and that they were in love. She even says she'll wait for him. She'll be waiting a long time. I'm just glad that I was able to get justice for Part 2 on how my sister married our stepdad after our mom passed away. Okay, so boom, like I said, my mom got sick with an incurable problem and just asked our stepdad to take care of us alongside our real dad. Then my mom passed away in peace. But little did she or I know the chaos that would come behind her death. By the way, you guys, I'm 16 and my sister is 17. Shortly after our mom passed away, the energy shifted in the house. It was just negative in there and I just felt it. My sister started sleeping in bed with our stepdad where my mom once laid her head. And of course I knew what was going on in there. Who wouldn't? One day I was so enraged by my sister's actions, especially after our mom passed away, that I barged into their room where I seen balloons, hearts, and roses everywhere. I then saw my sister crying as she happily held her hand up and said we're getting married. I got into a screaming match with my sister on how she could do this to our mom, to where she responded, mom's not here. It's only been 5 months. Story time on how my sister married our stepdad after our mom passed away. Okay, so boom. My sister and I are like best friends since we're only 1 year apart. We have the same mom and dad, but my mom divorced our dad after catching him cheating on her. About 5 years later, my mom met our stepdad and got married, and we've been a happy family ever since. So me and my sister started off very close, but our relationship became strained when I noticed my sister and stepdad being way too close. I never caught them doing anything, but their relationship was inappropriate. But it always happened behind me and my mom's back. I only seen them sneak off a couple times when they didn't expect me to come out my room while my mom was at work. But it was only very long hugs and kisses on the cheeks that I seen. Unfortunately, my mom got sick and ended up passing away due to an incurable problem. Me and my mom were super close, and all my mom asked our stepdad to do is take care of us alongside our real dad. Little did we know, Part 4 on how a man followed me into my apartment and tried to harm me. Okay, so boom, like I said, he knew all my habits and planned to get me at the right time. You never know who's watching you, even if you feel alone. The shot missed his abdominal muscle, so he lived. But it's going to be a sad life. The doctor said that his injury looks like eventually it would lead to death. And even if it doesn't, he will be very weak and fragile. So he couldn't hurt anyone even if he wanted to. But until then, he will be in jail. So no matter how safe you feel, make sure you are protecting yourself. And don't be like me doing stupid things like leaving your door unlocked. It takes 2 seconds to lock your door, and that could be the difference from life or death. Stay safe, guys, both men and women. Part 3 on how a man followed me into my apartment and tried to harm me. Okay, so boom, like I said, I walked to my room shaking as he was 10 steps behind me. I told my dog to heel because I didn't want this man to harm my dog either. As soon as I walked into my room, I took the GUN and shot him. The man fell to the ground and so did his weapon. I turned on the lights and shot him right in the stomach around here on his side. My neighbors all came out after the shot and we all called the cops. They got there pretty fast. And my boyfriend stayed with me for 3 months every day after that. They did an investigation and looked at the cameras. Turned out that he'd been stalking me the whole time. He knew my habits and planned to get me at the right time. Even if you feel alone, someone can be watching. I'm grateful for my boyfriend for leaving his weapon with me. He has like 3, but leaving one with me saved my life. Who knows what would have happened to me had I not shot this man. The shot missed his abdominal muscle, so he lived, but it's going to be a sad life. Like and follow for part 4 to find out what happened. Part 2 on how a man followed me into my apartment and tried to harm me. Okay, so boom, like I said, I was taking off my dog's leash, and because I left the door unlocked, a 40-year-old man just opened my door. At this point, I was at a distance from the door and closer to my bedroom. My dog started barking, and then I said, "Excuse me, what are you doing?" But I did say it in fear. Then the man took a step in my door and said, "I just want to talk." My door was still slightly open but more closed, and he was fully into my home at this point. He told me to go into my room and be quiet or else he would use his weapon. He had a GUN. I didn't want him to do anything to me, so I listened. But I had hope because I also had my boyfriend's GUN in my room. My boyfriend leaves it there so I can protect myself. I never thought I would have to use it, but I'm glad my boyfriend thought of my safety, regardless of what I said. I walked to my room shaking with him about 10 steps behind me. As soon as I walked in, I grabbed the GUN, turned around, and shot him. Like for part 3 on how I beat up my toxic mom for New Year's. Okay, so boom, like I said, I jumped out her window and I ran away. I guess I didn't think everything through because I didn't even know how to get to my friend's house because my mom would always be the one to drop me off. So I was kind of just lost. I eventually even slipped on tar and sprained my ankle and was in horrible shape. Eventually, some cops found me and brought me home because my mom reported that I ran away. My mom nursed me back to health, and after spending long hours together, because she called off work and treated me for a month, I realized my mom loved me and just wanted what was best for me and for me to be successful. I begged and begged for my mom's forgiveness, and currently I'm doing everything in my power to make it up to her. I'm gonna make sure I make her proud. Don't beat up your mom, kids. Part 2 on how my girlfriend got me a bunny for my birthday and I killed it by mistake. Okay, so boom, like I said, 3 days after getting my new bunny, I let him out his cage because he was pooping a lot. I put him in my backyard alongside with my 2 dogs. He was hopping and my dogs were playing and everything was fine until my dog had a grass seed between his paws and I started taking it out. Once I was done, I looked for my bunny and I couldn't find him. My heart sank and I started panicking. I went to the front of my house where the road was and I seen my bunny completely flattened on the road. He was ran over by a car while I was paying attention to my dog. I cried, bagged him up and buried him, and I didn't even have a chance to name him yet. I feel like literal trash. Should I tell my girlfriend or should I just move on and do better in the future? Comment.